Welcome to the inaugural interview of Walk and Talk, brought to you by Simple Preacher Productions, simplepreacher.com, from the famous studios here, there, or wherever.
Brilliant.
Look, I'm joined with my good friend Simon, and what these interviews are all about is I'm doing this walk, I'm trusting in faith, in my heart, I'm doing a walk of the pilgrims, St. Francis, Ignatius of Loyola, Pascal, people who gave everything away and stepped out into the world to find their souls and their true place of union with the cosmos and the universe and how we fit into that. And I've asked Simon along this morning, who's going to talk to us for a little bit about what spirituality means to him and how that's manifested in his life. And so, Simon, how are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, I'm very good.
Great.
And,
What's been happening?
I noticed, Andrew, that you're not in a tent tonight.
No, do you know what? You can see it on the socials, but I was just given this amazing gift yesterday of 2 nights in the grounds of this chateau, which is a horticultural school. And he said, look, you can stay as long as you want. And I'm quite glad, actually, because it's been, technical term, pissing with rain all morning.
Wow. I mean, that's perfect, isn't it?
Absolutely
perfect.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me, Simon, would you call yourself spiritual or religious?
Spiritual. I don't follow a religion.
No, absolutely. And how tell us a little bit about your story in terms of spiritual journey. How's that been in the last, what happened to kind of get you to this point?
Yeah, well, I guess, for me, as a young person, I guess we used to go to Catholic school and we used to do all that. But my father was actually an archaeologist and he was an atheist, but he still took us along to church on Sunday. We went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
I guess as the years went on, there was really no spirituality at all. As I entered my teenage years, no spirituality at all. And you could say that, perhaps I was spiritually sick. For me, I burnt the candle at both ends. I burnt the candle at both ends, and I found myself a broken man, probably at the age of sort of 24. Yeah. I was trying to change my experience in the world, and I got into various sort of philosophies. I was quite interested in a guy called Stuart Wilde that used to talk about the Tao and Lao Tzu and things like that. And he was quite rebellious character, and he would swear and all that sort of thing. And I found that quite appealing. As the years went on, it's very difficult to hold on to these positive ideas because often, life gets us, and I found myself broken again. I eventually found the 12-step program, and that was huge for me. I found out about myself. They asked us to find your own God, which was beautiful. You could come up with your own ideas, and it's grown from there. I take a few steps back, Andrew, as you know.
Yes.
And but then take leaps in the right direction as well. Amazing, beautiful journey. And you've been a huge inspiration for me. There was a time, it was about 2 years ago, wasn't it? And I was a postman at the time. And I came to you, we had a curry on Friday. And I came to you and I was complaining about this and that. And I knocked someone's bumper off their car in my post van. There was always huge hoo-ha. And it got very serious in the office. And I had the union rep there trying to support me. And it was overwhelming for me,
Yes.
And you said to me, Simon, aren't you supposed to be...
I'm not crying. I've just got my leaky eye.
Well, you should be crying, Andrew, at this stage. No, but you said to me, Simon, aren't you supposed to be an artist? And all defensively, I sort of said, well, I am. What do you mean, And you said to me, and this is profound, you said to me, Simon, be one, be one. And you gave me this amazing tale about the fall.
Yes.
which maybe you could tell us more about. But at that point, I then left my job, and within a week, I'd secured a little part-time job maintaining instruments, which was like, wow.
Yes.
It wasn't really work. It was like, go and fiddle with a guitar, and there was pocket money, and very quickly also got myself spoke to two, successful musicians on the phone. You encouraged me to step out, and just like what you've done, it's very, I had the courage to step out the door.
Yes. Yes.
Previously for, the 6 or 7 years previously, where I was on this 12-step journey as well, I was doing it, but I never stepped out the door, and so, and bang, 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 I had a manager within 2 weeks, and, and that was spiritual for me. And,
Absolutely.
so, for me, spirituality means to follow your heart,
Yes.
to have courage, and to know that deep in here, if that's what you need to do, you do it,
Absolutely. And I think, it's David Goggins, people think he's mad. People think he's extreme. And you spoke there about the Holy Fool, and which I told you about. And the Holy Fools were people who would shine lights on the rest of the population. Since we first started to barter things, 5, 10,000 years ago, whatever. And then money came along, and desire and greed, ownership, all of this stuff. And the Holy Fools were people who lived an extreme life. They'd stand naked in churches or in the middle of Red Square in Moscow, in the freezing temperatures, and people would think they're absolutely insane. But what they were actually doing was shining the light on the insanity and how separated people have become from what's right and true, and it was all around the church, so people would be going to church and they'd be throwing stones at the churches or walking naked through congregations, and people, you can't do that, and what they were saying was, you've got no idea, you think you're going to find comfort for your soul in this building, some of you may do, but the majority of you won't, because it's an inside job, it's in the heart. I call it 18 inches from the head to the heart, and it's taken me 60-odd years to travel that 18 inches, Simon, and a lived experience. You're having a lived experience, this walk is a lived experience. It's funny what happens when you, when you step out with no money into the world and just trust, and faith in the process, and your soul and love and other human beings. It becomes very real. It becomes really visceral. It makes you very aware of what's happening in your head. What about this? What about that? Fear, anxiety, everything that we think is real isn't. And it becomes really focused, very intense, very intense. And actually, when I don't know if you found this, but letting go. Goggins, I spoke about Goggins earlier, and he lives this extreme life. People think he's insane. But actually, to me, he's a modern day holy fool. He's shining a light on the rest of the population who's saying, listen, you don't have to live the way you are. You can do this. I was 300 pounds, I was overweight, and I changed my life around. Every morning he gets up and he has to deal with the resistance in here, deal with the fear. I had it this morning. Even though I'm in this place, I've got a sanctuary for 2 nights. I woke up this morning thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? Don't be so stupid. What are you going to set off tomorrow? And actually, when I've gone through all of that, I wanted to leave today. Because actually, what am I doing resting here for 2 days? What am I hiding from? You know what I mean? But actually, I've managed to turn it around. My feet are quite blistered. I'm going to just rest up for the day and go tomorrow. But I felt that I'd gone back into that hiding in my head, without stepping forward. And no, I was just going to say that your journey is, as you say, not dissimilar, and it's having to, we both had to go into our face our demons, and it is an insight. There's nothing going to come into us from outside. There's nothing going to go, bing, that's it, you're sorted. It's only through pain that I grow, and you find that too, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. No growth in comfort. When everything's rosy and the world's on my side, I stop trying. I don't know. Becomes too easy.
Yes.
But also, it was quite interesting for me, and I was just thinking then about what you were talking, and I just think it's incredible, the synchronicities. Now, it's raining outside, and you got a blister.
Yes.
And you find yourself here.
Yeah.
Rested for 2 days.
Yeah.
Although your head's sort of going, I need to keep going, I need to keep going. There's a time to keep going and there's a time to stop.
Yes.
And it's about this balance, and I just can't believe, I've followed your journey and I think it's been 6 days or five days. And
Day 6 now. Day 6,
yeah,
I think now, yes.
It's just incredible. It's easy to think that you're having a bit of luck, but I don't think luck's involved. The synchronicities have been profound. Firstly, you find yourself on the boat, and the chap that got you across was friends with a guy that's helping you with your book, or went to school with a guy. You can't make that stuff up, because
No.
if you were a novelist and you wrote that, it would be too simple, and you can't make it up. It's easy for fear to think that you're going to step out into the world and it's going to be a dangerous place with no food, and you're going to be frightened, or you're going to be attacked, or you're going to be bullied out the village or something, but actually you're just there in comfort that's the night, and healing, resting your foot.
I think that's a very good point, Simon, and it's love, isn't it? It's love, and if I had to define my spirituality, it would be that, it would be having to go through the pain of understanding myself, what's real, what's not real, getting into all the sort of behavior patterns that I use. I call them the shadows on the heart. I put the shadows on my heart myself, whether it's desire, whether it's greed, self-will, arrogance, whatever, anger, all of those. You can stick labels on all of them. They're all ways that I try and defend myself from the world. But actually, if I stop doing that and actually understand where all that stuff comes from within me, then I can open my heart and actually give love and receive love. And that's what I've had all the way along here, is love. And it's just been amazing. And you find that, with whatever, your music career now, you're just at the jumping off point, aren't you? And it's beautiful.
Well, it's very interesting. All these things you mentioned, I just imagine these shields and swords, whether it be, anger, all these emotions that block us, the blockers, fear, it's a blocker. And, they're stopping us. They're potentially stopping us from getting to where you are now. Or for me, I found myself 2 years on from walking out, now I've got a band and we've got loads of songs and real great professionals. And, in me, there's still shields and swords to stop, to try and protect me, to protect Simon. Inevitably, I am frightened, and I have to keep pretending or having faith, and it's never ending. I don't know why I can't switch it off, but I guess if you want to see the view, you got to climb the hill.
Absolutely.
And have a blister on your foot when you get there.
Yes, absolutely. Simon, look, it's been a beautiful chat, and for the first walk and talk, I think it's absolutely amazing. And I think that's so true. You have to get up the hill to see the view, and this journey for me is one of growth and, as I say, trust and real. I want to have I feel so comfortable, you know, when I'm doing this stuff, and there is a bigger picture, you know. We do want to create this foundation. We do want to have a shot at changing the world, or trying to do something, you know, because the world is in a bit of a messed up place. And it's funny though, I was saying to somebody yesterday, on an individual basis, you know, everybody's been so kind, and yet, you know, on a global basis, it just seems, you know, we've got Putin got voted back in, we've got the prospect of Trump coming riding over the hill, and you know, it just seems that what's happening in Israel and Gaza, that the world's in a very precarious place, more so than it ever has been, I think. And you know, the insanity of human beings, just because it's mine, it's mine. You know, and anyway, that's a bigger task.
Well, look, like, when you were speaking of that, I can only think of yin and yang. You know,
yes,
yin and yang, and you know, sometimes I have to have a bad meal to appreciate a good one. You know.
yes.
But mate,
look, it's been beautiful.
Yeah,
it's been beautiful to have you along this morning, Simon. And this, you know, these walk and talks, I'm going to try and do one a week, and they're just with people who ordinary people, you know, who, not that you're ordinary in any way whatsoever, but you know, people who aren't, you know, celebrities yet, but people who, you know, just trying to get on with their lives, you know, and trying to lead life in a spiritual way, and to give love and receive love. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So thank you.
Well, you're an inspiration, Andrew, and it's incredible. I'm grateful you've asked me to come on here, and I'm watching your journey, and it's inspiring me. So, you know, thank you for that. So
Awesome, brother. Let's leave it there.
Okay.